All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. How you guys doing this morning? It is Friday, July 19th. Uh, what's going on, Aussie? What's up, Mike? KM, how you guys doing? Haven't seen you around for a while, Ozzy. How you been, man? You're gonna trade futures on options expiration day? All right, I like it. We're being a rebel today. I feel it. Well, let's take a look at the futures and see what we've got going for today. Real quickly, Forex Factory calendar here. Nothing on the board there that I think we need to pay attention to. A little bit of numbers coming out here at 10 o'clock. Nothing in red there. And then later on, a couple of these guys are going to be speaking from the Fed. This is obviously after the bell. So no real reason to worry about that one. And again, neither of those are in the red. So we're pretty much clear on the day in terms of news announcements. We've had a pretty decent little overnight action so far. We've got about a 13-point range in the S&P so far in the overnight action. The open was a little bit kind of fun, I guess you could say. Last night, right at 6 o'clock when we opened up there, we kind of ripped higher for a quick moment there, kind of gave it all back, and then have rallied back to it again in the overnight session. But coming in right now, we've got the S&P's up 0.28%. We've got NASDAQ up 0.39%. Russell up 0.06%, and the Dow up 0.38%. So for whatever reason, again, the Russell here just being a little bit of a laggard on the day so far here, up only 0.06%. NASDAQ and Dow are the leaders on the day here at the moment. So we're going to take a look at those and see what kind of focus we can pull from that and where this market can potentially go. Now, S&Ps here, we're gapping up currently 3005.75, kind of up here in this area. We traded all the way up into 3009s in the overnight session so far. This level is still in place here at 98 quarters. That is going to be the level that needs to break above. Confirmation closes the full 9 there. At this moment in time, doesn't look like that's going to be any type of an issue here. Again, we're gapping up off that level. We just rallied from that level again in the overnight session about 7 o'clock. We came down and kind of tagged this level again. It's still a valid level on the day. And you can see we've tested it twice so far in the overnight session. We came down right in here, like I said, right after the open there. 30 minutes after the open, came down and tested it, kind of hung out for a bit. And then just recently came back down and tested it again here just prior to and after the 7 o'clock time frame there, East Coast time for the futures market here in the S&Ps. And we've reacted pretty decently off that, about 8 points or so there to the upside in the S&Ps. My game plan, knowing all that information, is I would like to see a pullback again into 29.98 quarters on the day. The only question is, we've traded it twice in the overnight session. We just reacted off of it, basically 2 hours ago here. And, that pushed us up into where we're currently at. So it leads me to believe that, we may not, in fact, get that pullback to 29.98 quarters here. And we'll have to start looking at what could potentially be a gap and go situation for this morning. Now, how far that gap and go runs is, up for debate here at the moment. There's a couple levels in place we can pay attention to here. 3008.75. Again, overnight session here for the S&Ps is 0950s. So we pushed through that level by just a little bit in the overnight session. And we've got another level above here at 1175. And that's where I think we can kind of get to on the day. So I think there's about 6 points worth of room here for us to run and get up into 30.1175s on the day. And it's just going to be a matter of if we can grab an entry down here kind of early on this morning, if we're not going to get that pullback to 98 quarter in order to participate in that move. If we get through 30.1175s here, we could have a pretty decent little runaway day going here. That'll give us targets up into 30.17s. So realistically, if we're able to get good entries down here with risk reward up into 30.1175s, then I would like to, one, take profits at that level, and two, hold a little bit of the position up for 3017 there. Again, this is kind of a little bit more of a long shot on the day. We're already up, 8 points on the day, so can we go up 18 points on the day? Or basically 20 points on the day and kind of get those 3017s? Yeah, I don't see that being any too much of a stretch here for this morning. Again, 301175 is going to be the first target kind of on that move, though. What I think is a little bit better of a play here this morning is going to most likely come out of the Nasdaq here. Nasdaq's gapping up a little bit more here than the rest of the markets in terms of, or at least over the S&P, that's gapping up about the same as the Dow here. And 79.41 quarters was the target level from yesterday here. You can see we came right off these 45s. We traded 45 quarters on the lows there and pushed up through the 70.75s there. And then just once we were finally able to do that, we just ripped to the upside here and got up into those 41 quarters. We did, in fact, come down, retest this level again in the overnight session twice here. Same thing as the S&Ps. Traded it, rallied up, tried to get new highs, came back down here about 7 o'clock and retested this 41 quarter level. So far, that's given about a 25-point reaction out of 41 quarters so far for the Nasdaq here. And again, I'm not expecting that we get back to 41 quarters here at the open. I think that would be a little bit of a stretch. So the levels I'm going to put in place here, 79.50 quarters and then up to 79.54 75s. If we can get a pullback right off the open here, kind of a quick little, glitch to the downside here into this 54.75 to 50 quarter zone in the Nasdaq, then I would like to be, why did that not, that didn't go to where I wanted it. There we go, 59 quarters. If we can get a pullback to this little zone here of 50 quarters to 59 quarters first thing this morning, then I am a buyer of that, looking for this market to go higher. First entries are going to be aggressive off 59 quarters. If those do not hold, we go to 50 quarters. And then, of course, if those don't hold, we go to 41 quarters. I'm anticipating that 59 quarters will hold here. And then we can work our way, kind of back up towards basically this $8,000 number up here that we have not been able to trade in the regular trading hours session just yet. Again, if I don't get an entry in there, I'm fine with that. I still do have a butterfly on that expires today. That is the 79.80, 8,080.20 butterfly in there. Pick that up for $2. It's currently trading $3.55. But would like to see this get up through 79.82s and kind of work our way up into 8,000s there and potentially look to take a profit on that position. So yeah, that's going to be the game plan here for the Nasdaq. First little retest of this 59 quarter level. I will be an aggressive buyer here. Keep in mind, it is options expiration day. I mentioned that just a second ago. But typically on options expiration day, what you'll see is we'll kind of pull back in the morning, we'll set lows, and then we'll just kind of rally back up through highs and maybe push a little bit through those and then kind of come back down a little bit and settle out somewhere around the open. Given the move out from yesterday here, given the strength of this move and just the sheer size and movement of it here, I don't think that is going to be the case for today. We're already getting some decent overnight action, pretty decent range so far, and for us to not get up to kind of these $8,000 numbers would be a bit of a surprise there for me, considering we're clearing all of this other resistance at the open for the Nasdaq. So I do like the Nasdaq a little bit better here off the open than I do the rest of the markets. If you want to play this as well with some QQQ options, that is completely fine as well. QQQ is gapping up to 193.58s here, and those prior highs up there 194.19s. So that'll put the Qs, if we get the $8,000 print, roughly at about 194.30s. And I think we can look to play some type of options market in there as well if you're looking to day trade some options in the QQQs. That also gives you an opportunity in Nadex here for the Nasdaq as well. We'll take a look at those strikes after the bell in the MLT Discord there. But a couple different options on the board for today. Next up here, we've got the Russell. Again, Russell is the laggard on the day for whatever reason here. It is just not, it's not coming to the party for us so far. And the real question is like, we've got this, 58.10 level in place. Do we go ahead and scratch that level? And the answer is yes. Where do we look for, the Russell to go to now? We've got the 45.70s below. Obviously, we haven't gotten there yet. Lows of the day yesterday ended up coming in at 48.10s. So we barely were able to break through the prior day's low there just by one tick, and then unable to get anything going to the downside. And a marginal move to the upside for what the rest of the markets were doing there. So my game plan here for the Russell is we can keep a focus on the long side of this. And what I want to use the Russell for today is just kind of an indicator as to what the actual strength is in the overall rest of the markets. If the Russell can kind of hold and, stay either flat to positive on the day, then I think we're good for continued upside prices in the in the rest of the markets there. If for whatever reason the Russell comes down and trades these 53.80 levels and starts to break below 53.80s, then I think we're in for a little bit of a rough time with the Russell here, and I think that's going to put a little bit more pressure on the markets as well, and unable to really get a rally going. So I'm not looking to trade the Russell today, but I'm looking to use it a little bit more as an indicator in terms of where do I think this rally may end in the rest of the markets. So I'm going to take that from the Russell today. Overnight lows in there are 55.80s. We're currently trading 58.90s. As you guys know, the Russell can just kind of poop itself right at the open. It's done that pretty much every day for the past 2 weeks here. We've got red bar, one green bar, red bar, green bar, red bar, red bar, red bar, red bar. So Russell can definitely have kind of a gap and crap here, and it's really not even gapping that much considering the rest of the markets here. So keep an eye on this if it does in fact trade down into 53.80s. If it doesn't and it stays here, starts to rally a little bit, then I think we'll be fine for the market move across the rest of the indices. Next up on the list here is the Dow. Dow had this 27,221 level in place here from yesterday. We rallied right back into that level. We couldn't quite get the lower support levels here in the Dow, unfortunately. But coming back, and we're trying to end this downtrend now at the moment. Dow's currently trading 27,298, which is kind of like up in this zone. The support level in here for the Dow is going to come in at 27,280s. Now we dipped through that level a little bit further than the rest of the markets when everything else traded right about 7 o'clock here. The Dow dipped down to about 27,230s there, so traded 50 points through this level, but now has been able to rally back up, change the trend on a 5-minute chart, get above this level, and it's holding pullbacks to that 27,280. Now, Dow again is the second strongest market on the day here. It's up 0.36%, but it's in a different spot than the S&Ps. And what I mean by that is take a look at Wednesday's price right here where we're pulling that level from, and then if we take a look at the S&Ps, you'll see Wednesday's price that we pulled levels from, we actually traded yesterday. So the S&Ps tried to break the downtrend yesterday, kind of going into the close there, and the Dow is just now finally kind of getting to those levels and pushing a little bit through them here in the overnight session with this gap. So in large part, it means that the Dow here is breaking the trend essentially now. And the question is it going to have a nice explosive move through that break of trend? I think it potentially can. We got as high as 27,342s in the overnight session there. We got about 110 point range going in the Dow. S&Ps have a 13 point range going into the day. So Dow kind of lagging a little bit behind that. But I do think pullbacks here in the Dow for the day to 27,280s are good buyable opportunities in there. And that can target up into 27,352s. That gives us a decent enough target, about 70 points there for good risk reward ratio, and it puts it just poking through the overnight highs of 27,342s. So that would make sense as a really good target up there for the day in the Dow. And if we take a look at the extended session, you can see kind of how all that has traded throughout the overnight session so far. So again, crazy pop at the open. 30 minutes in, we sell off again, rally back, no new highs just yet, pull back, and then this 27,280 level now acting as a level of support once we've gotten back above it here for the Dow. Now, what I'm going to be looking for at the open, again, 27,280s in the Dow. This will be my second favorite trade of the day. The first favorite trade of the day, or I guess my favorite trade of the day, would be the Nasdaq off of 79.59 quarters right from the open. I'm going to take a look at some Nadex strikes in there as well, see if there's any positions that we can potentially put on for end of day in the first 30 minutes and the 11 o'clock expiration in there, and go ahead and work some orders to see if this market can kind of pull back into those zones for us. 923 here. One thing I do want to cover real quick, the Amazon position that I currently have on. I still do have 4 contracts of that left. Amazon is going to be gapping up to 1994.10. Is that the current bid at the moment here? And I'm going to look for, like I said, that to close somewhere around $2,000 on the day. And what I'm going to be doing there, you can see I've already got an order kind of sitting out here at $15 for that butterfly. So we picked up that butterfly for $1 back on, I think it was like June 10th. And at this point, we're now looking to sell that $1 butterfly that we picked up for 15 bucks. And we've already taken one contract off, or one spread of the butterfly off, for $5 to lock in our total investment on that trade. So at this point, that is one thing I am going to be managing today as well. Already have that order in place, just going to let that work. So could use just a little bit more push out of the NASDAQ here. That would be appreciated there, kind of get Amazon up and close to around the $2,000 print on the day there. That position most likely will not get filled until sometime after lunch, when all the premium starts getting taken out of the Amazon options in there for the day. If anything else comes up here that looks like a good viable opportunity for some premium selling on the day, then I'm not opposed to taking a look at that as well. But again, I'm not really seeing anything else besides the current position that I have on in Amazon. After today, the portfolio will be flat. We've got the Russell position, the NASDAQ position, Amazon, Boeing, and the Netflix butterfly, which went the complete opposite way. But that's okay. It was, I think, $150 risk on that trade. So I'll be fine if Amazon gets filled at 15 bucks and we lose 150 bucks on the Netflix butterfly there. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, hanging out. I will be right back in just a few minutes here for the opening bell with everyone that's in the MLT Discord. If you would like to join me and myself, Perry, and the rest of the community of MLT in the Discord, then there's a link in the description below. If not, you guys have a great weekend. Trade safe today, and I will see you back here on Monday. Take care.